Effective decompression will be useful. I mean, with effective decompression, if child is decompressing with rectal washes, then we can directly go ahead with primary pull through. And if child is not decompressing and all, then better to do a colostomy followed by pull through. If child's general condition is stable, we can wait and go ahead with a single stage, or if it's deteriorating, as well as stage. If and the main thing is, during primary we should have a local expertise so that we can have a frozen section histopathology, so we can pull down only the ganglionated bowel. The advantages of primary pull through are specific stoma complications can be avoided, number of admissions and hospital stay can be reduced, anal function and anorectal reflex are established as early as possible. The standard surgical procedures that are rectosigmoidectomy, which was been by Swenson and Bill in 1948, retrorectal transanal approach by Duhamel, and endorectal procedure as Soavi. So these are the three procedures what we are seeing. The first one will be Soavi, the second is Swenson, and the third is Duhamel. Swenson and Bill, in the photo we are showing is Swenson, in 1948 described the first successful method of treatment for Hirschsprung's disease. The initial based on the principle diseased portion of bowel was aganglionic, diseased portion will be aganglionic, and distal rectum removal of this segment will be necessary to allow for normal stooling. The incidence in the early stage will be of enterocolitis in early is 16% and in late stage is 27%. But Swenson modified it by creating an oblique anastomosis. Initially, it was a transverse anastomosis, but he modified it to an oblique anastomosis. Dissects the posterior rectal wall while leaving 1.5 to 2 centimeters of the anterior rectal wall. The meticulous dissection of the rectum down within the 2 centimeters of the dentate line. This is initially done by Swenson, which is the transverse, and which was modified again by Swenson to an oblique anastomosis. So risks and alternatives of Swenson's operation. The standard risks will be bleeding, infection, risk of anesthesia, and need for additional procedures. Injury to the adjacent structures like anal sphincter, dentate line, posterior urethra, and nervi genitis, and transition zone pull through, anastomotic stricture, and alternatives for this Swenson procedure will be Soavi and Duhamel. So now we will be discussing about the steps in Swenson's procedure. First, child should be positioned in the supine position with exposure of perineum, abdomen with legs strapped. Foley's catheter should be placed, and if child is neonate, fenestrel incision will be good, and if it's an infant, left paramedian incision is better. And after going in, the bladder should be retracted, and sigmoid colon should be separated by ligation of inferior mesenteric artery and retaining the marginal blood vessels. Sometimes may require splenic flexure to sometimes it may extend, mobilization should be done until splenic flexure to obtain an adequate length. Resection is done above the ganglionated bowel so that there is no transition zone left. Peritoneum is divided around its lateral and anterior reflection of rectum, exposing the muscle coat of rectum. In this we can see this is the peritoneal reflection where we are dividing the anterior part of rectum so that we can be entering into it. Sorry. The bowel is divided at the rectosigmoid junction and removed. Dissection extends from around the muscular wall in order to prevent damage to pelvic splanchnic innervation. Tension-free length obtained by the tension-free length should be obtained by dividing the inferior mesenteric pedicle and carefully preserving the marginal vessels, because mostly the blood supply to the pull-through bowel will be from the marginal vessels. Dissection should be carried down until the external sphincter posteriorly and laterally, anteriorly leaving 1.5 centimeters to the intact rectal wall, so that urethra and any bladder supplying nerves cannot be damaged. The mobilized rectum is intussuscepted through the anal canal. So this is how we'll be separating it from the peritoneum, and we can see in this 34th picture where we can be separating it from the peritoneum, and only the serosal layer is separated, followed by the only mucosal tube is left, from which the mucosal tube will be pulled down. The mobilized rectum is intussuscepted through the anal canal. When the dissection is completed, it is also it is possible to avert anal canal completely when traction was applied on the rectum. The ganglionic bowel that is pulled through the intussuscepted part of native rectum, and the anterior half of bowel is incised and the anastomosis to the anterior half of anus with 40 vicryl followed by the posterior layer. When the anastomosis is completed, sutures occurred along the anastomosis to retract within the anus so that the suture line stays within the anal canal. Coming to Duhamel's procedure, it was described by Benrad Duhamel first. His operation was for Hirschsprung's disease in 1956. The principle is to exclude rectum instead of removing it. The advantages of Duhamel is easy performance of surgery, reduction in anastomotic leaks and strictures, retention of anal sensory receptors, and preservation of nervi urgentis. And what are the modifications that are done to the Duhamel? The first description was anal transverse incision was made at anocutaneous junction. This we can see how we are preserving the internal sphincter. Initially, the internal sphincter was spared and it is used to be below the internal anal sphincter. But Corby modified in 1959 to be done above the internal anal sphincter. This modification had led to constipation and some stool soiling because of false fecal incontinence. And Duhamel again modified it in 1960 by dividing internal anal sphincter in the distal 1/3 part. The other modifications are done in Duhamel that is mainly to eliminate the rectal pouch spur. In 1964, it was by Giarch and Lister by placing the O-shaped clamp, and in 1966 it is by Talbot, and 1987 it is by Stetson, and the other thing modification was Martin, what we are now using it. This is the initial Duhamel, which was an end-to-side anastomosis leaving a huge spur. But in Martin's modification, what we are seeing is the anastomosis, the spur can be removed using a stapler anastomosis or a suture line, best by using a stapler anastomosis. What is the preoperative preparation should be done? The operation is generally done when the child is 6 to 12 months of age and the weight should be about 10 kgs. Initially, the mechanical bowel preparation as well as oral antibiotics are best used than IV antibiotics when giving mechanical bowel preparation. Recently, lack of evidence, some surgeons deferred the use of mechanical bowel preparation. They say Horschneider says that giving rectal washes is sufficient than doing a mechanical bowel preparation. Care must be taken to give adequate rectal and colonic washouts as the stool is often inspiated in the distal rectum. To do, it is best to do perrectal examination before pull through to ensure there is no residual stool present, and a broad spectrum antibiotic should be given before the incision. Coming to operative technique, in this the child should be placed in a supine position with stirrups and skis. That is, both perineum and abdomen should be exposed in the same plane. And NG tube is placed as well as Foley's catheter after the induction. Hockey stick or oblique incision is done. If colostomy present, we should be incorporating the colostomy into this incision. In the same way, the bladder should be retracted and colon is mobilized and brought down. To ensure the adequate length of pull through, the ganglionated colon should reach just below the perineum when drawn over the pubic symphysis. If the mesentery is short, it is necessary to ligate inferior mesenteric artery near the aortic root. The peritoneal reflection between the bladder and rectum are incised and distal rectum is mobilized 4 centimeters below the reflection. This is how after the ganglionated segment is divided, we should be creating a retrorectal space is created directly in the midline, and dissection is carried down to the pelvic floor so that assistant finger can be felt when inserted no more than 1.5 centimeters. So once the retrorectal dissection is done, the redundant aganglionic bowel is resected and down to the peritoneal reflection with a stapling device. Once the bowel is labeled as, we should be taking 2 sutures on the one is on mesenteric side and one is anti-mesenteric side, so that the bowel will not be disproportionately pulled down or twisted. So the incision is made 0.5 centimeters proximal to the dentate line. As I said, it is modified as one third of the internal anal sphincter. And once the incision is made using a 4-0 polyglycan, sutures are placed on the inferior aspect and the diet sutures are on the upper portion. Here you can see a clamp placed on the rectorectal space and the ganglionic bowl is pulled down. And the single layer anastomosis is created between the pull down anterior wall and the native rectum posterior wall. The anastomotic stapling device is placed with one arm in the native anal canal and the other in the neo rectum. The normal staples, what we use are 80 mm with 3.5 mm staples is preferred. And the proximal anastomosis of aganglionic bowl is closed after performing no proximal spur is present. Sometimes if the spur is more, we can be using 2 staples from above so that the spur can be eliminated. Now coming to SOAVI endorectal pull-through procedure. Endorectal pull-through procedure was popularized by Franco SOAVI at Gasoline Institute in 1955, which was modified by Bolle, modified by performing a primary anastomosis. Initially, it was a two-stage operation. Initially, after 7 days, we'll be resecting the left out rectal mucosa that is present. And Coron has further modified it. This procedure avoids the injury to pelvic nerves and remaining within the muscular wall of aganglionic segment, and integrity of the internal anal sphincter is preserved. Coming to operative technique, the same positioning of the patient, it should be under general anesthesia and catheter should be inserted, and in supine position, we should, before doing a procedure, we should perform a wide dilatation of anal canal by inserting two fingers dilated by traction in the opposite direction. This is useful for the successful pull-through procedure so that the sphincter is not at all, the sphincteric achilles can be removed. The patient should be positioned supine with buttocks lying at the extreme edge of the operating table and legs hanging freely wrapped in drapes and fixed to the table. The incision should be classical left paramedian incision or it can be a phalansteal incision. Coming to procedure, all mesocolic adhesions of the left paramedian incision are dissected up to the splenic flexure so that the pull-through bowl can be adequate. Before endorectal dissection, perform multiple seromuscular biopsies of rectum and colon in order to evaluate the length of aganglionic and hypoganglionic segments. The most important and the peculiar step that used in SOAVI procedure is separation of seromuscular from the mucosal layer of rectum. There are so many steps, there are so many ways in dividing this, but injection of bupivacaine 2% with epinephrine in 10 ml saline, 10 ml NS between the layers will help in separation of seromuscular layer from the mucosal layer, so that seromuscular incision is made on the infiltrated anterior wall of rectum. And the incision is widened with a blunt dissection, first along the axis and then laterally and then posteriorly. Here you can see first the injection, once we identify the colon, we had made an injection over the seromuscular layer, so that once it creates a space between the seromuscular and mucosal tube, we should make an incision along the axis and it should be separated first along the axis, then laterally, and then we should go posteriorly. This, and after once the mucosal tube is separated from the seromuscular layer, then we'll be doing a dissection using a small gauze piece, or we will be using a small probe, so that we'll be separating it from the anterior wall of rectum and the anterior serosal layer of rectum. The mucosal tube is separated. Once the mucosal tube is separated, we'll be pulling down the mucosal tube so that the mucosal tube is intercepted from the native anal canal. Blunt dissection of seromuscular is progressively carried downward. Care must be taken not to perforate the mucosal tube. In older patients, the two layers will be very tight. So, based on the experience of surgeon, scissors can be used in a delicate manner to separate the adhesions between the seromuscular and mucosal layer. Dissection is easier along the posterior wall of rectum than along the anterior wall. The detachment is completed only when the distal level of 1 to 1.5 centimeter from the pectinate line is reached. This level can be assessed by keeping a finger from below the anal region. Anus is exposed and the mucosal tube is averted and pulled down along with the proximal colon by passing a catheter. After the pull through has been completed, the two tubes are arranged in the following manner. That will be external averted rectal mucosa and internal ganglionic colon. This is how in the C picture we can be seeing that the external will be the averted rectal mucosa and the internal will be the pull down ganglionic colon. Resect the pull down colon of 5 to 6 centimeters from the anal verge. The perineal stage is completed by anchoring a seromuscular coat of colon to the averted rectal mucosa. The resection of protruding rectal stump is done after 7 days. This was done by initially Soavi, which is after later modified. The resection after 7 days. Resection by cutting the outer mucosal layer and closing close to the anal verge as possible and the inner colon 1 centimeter longer. So that once it was sutured and the interrupted sutures are placed, the stump spontaneously retracts into the anal canal. This avoids the possibility of stricture. This is how we'll be pulling down. Once the mucosal tube is separated from the seromuscular layer, the mucosal tube along with the proximal mucosal tube will be pulled down using a catheter. The catheter should be placed and the bottom of the bulb should be tied. And once it was pulled down, the below mucosal tube will be cut. And the rectal mucosa should be averted and the normal ganglionated colon will be pulled down along from the rectal mucosa. Once it was pulled down, it can be resected 5 to 6 centimeters. Once it was pulled down, then the ganglionic bowl. So that we'll be having only, transition zone can be eliminated. And this is how finally the Soavi procedure looks like. The outer layer will be the seromuscular layer followed by the inner ganglionated bowl. The modifications of Soavi are Bowley's primary anastomosis to avoid the second procedure for colonic stump resection that proposed a primary coloanal anastomosis. And one more is Mark's split sleeve, which was proposed by, Kasai initially proposed an operation for Hirschsprung's disease, that is rectal myotomy with colectomy. Later, Marx proposed some modifications to Soavi rectal pull-through, which includes Mark's slit sleeve, that is similar to Kasai, including the both. And one more is the posterior median proctomyotomy is performed longitudinally with diathermy no more than 1 centimeter above the pectinate line, resulting in partial internal sphincterotomy. That will help in preventing constipation, because these people mainly will be having constipation because of high achalasia of internal sphincter. These modifications help in preventing post-op constipation due to sphincter achalasia. This is experience we see in Swenson, Duhamel, and Soavi. In Swenson, the mortality is seen in 0 to 5.8% of patients. In Duhamel, it was 1.6% of patients. Bowel control is seen in until 5 years in Swenson, it is seen in 90% of cases. When it comes to more than 10 years it was almost 97% of patients. In Duhamel, until 5 years, it is 92%. When it comes to 10 years, it's almost the same as 97 to 98%. In the Soavi also, it's a similar 91% is seen. In Swenson, when it comes to constipation, Swenson has mentioned when it was done by him, the rates are only 5.7%, but Horschneider reported 34.5% constipation, whereas Nixon reported 34.5%. And Swenson reported in Duhamel, Horschneider reported in Duhamel, constipation rates are 5 to 8%, and in Soavi it was 5.6% initial 5.6% and followed by 3%. The 5.6% is seen, I mean, it was divided in two groups, which was done by only survey, which was done by his team. It was after modification, it's 5.6% initially, and after that, it was 3%. The soiling rates, according to Swenson, is 13.3% initially, followed by 8% in the follow-up period. In Duhamel, it was 0 to 20%. Mainly, it is not a true. I mean, because of the false income, because of constipation. In Soavi, it was 5.6%. Enterocolitis is seen in enterocolitis Sherman. I mean, it was 22.5%, and Horschnight it was 3.7%. In Duhamel, it was 6%, and Soavi it was 1.4%. In rectal stricture rate, if done below 4 months, it is 22.2%, and if it's done more than 4 months, it is 7.5%. In Duhamel, it was only 0.7%. In Soavi, it was only 1 to 8%, but because of the modifications that not by immediately doing and all, it came down to 0.5%. The fishless rate are almost 2% in all the cases. Thank you.
Yeah, Rohit.
Sir.
Yeah, I think I'll take you through the slides. Can you go back to your introduction and can you start from there? Yes, it's extensive presentation. Yes, unless we have some actual images, then it would make it easier to understand. Yeah, when you go back to your principles.
Sir.
Yeah, the removal. Yeah, including the dilated sigmoid. Yeah. Then you mentioned about selection criteria for primary and staged.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, presently, what do you think is the primary this thing for? This is fine. What do you feel it's primary versus stage? What do we do? What do we do at our institute?
In our institute, it will be. I mean, it will be staged there. If child is actively decompressing with washes and all, we'll be going ahead after 6 months. The primary anastomia. I mean, primary Pulto procedure. But if child is not decompressing or any episode of enterocolitis, we are going ahead with doing colostomy.
We wait till 6 months without colostomy? Is that what we do?
No, sir. 3 months.
3 months. Okay, I mean, Babu and they are doing at 3 months of age.
3 to 4.
Pardon me?
3 to 4. I mean, 3 to 4 months we are going ahead and doing.
Yeah, presentation early. See, most of them now. What do you see now? What's the presentation? What age do you see?
A neonatal presentation we are seeing.
Neonatal. So you have to mention it as neonatal presentation. So neonatal presentation, and how many cases with enterocolitis you have seen and you've gone and done colostomy or avoided doing a pull through?
We saw enterocolitis only after procedure, sir. Never seen.
Yes, so that is true. Previously, yes, it is mentioned there some previous criteria that existed, true, but preoperative enterocolitis and the child needing, maybe because of early colostomy, we don't see it.
Yes,
or with some children, occasionally you see some child coming at 4 years, 5 years, then
yes,
they would have a period of enterocolitis and anyway they would go into colitis. So as a primary criteria in a neonatal period, it would be this one. Effective decompression is fine. And main actually is the presence is the local, more than expertise and the policy, hospital policy, what it is wanting to do, whether they're comfortable with the staged procedure or a single stage procedure. Then all other things would add up to it. Again, the next would be presentation.
yes.
You have seen the baby newborn early and then you effectively decompressed and then you are planning either a transenteral pull through or a survey in early age group or Duhamel as a later age group, 6 months age group. So that would be the things. Other things are secondary. This thing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Next, you go to your next slide. Okay. Then Okay, go on. Sorry. Yeah, what is this modification, Svensson? If discussing with Svensson, when you describe the technique, you mention it as submucosal. It is not submucosal. It is on the serosa. If you read the description,
Oh,
so submucosa comes only for Sauve, like as you mentioned in the previous case,
yes,
last this one.
yes.
But if you're in Svensson, it would be if you have the images of Svensson, the dissection where you have shown.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what the dissection in 34, what is being seen is of the serosa. So
Yes.
there is some layer of muscle you dissect into the muscle, but not into the submucosa. That is, this is to prevent the nerve injury. Again, the oblique anastomosis was done. Why was oblique anastomosis done?
Uh,
What was the reason for oblique anastomosis? If you go back to the previous slide,
Posteriorly,
the oblique.
bowel will be more, sir, so that the constipation can be prevented.
No, why oblique anastomosis? General principle. Why oblique anastomosis?
I mean, stricture rate will be reduced.
And also anteriorly is leaving more, 1.5 centimeter,
Yes.
and tapering down posteriorly. This is you have shown. It is not this way. This image is actually you look end on. It looks like that.
Okay.
At if the baby is in lithotomy position, at 6 o'clock it will be half centimeter.
Okay.
Then at 3 and 9 o'clock will be 1 centimeter, and when you come to 12 o'clock, it will be 1.5 centimeter.
Okay.
So just beneath the bladder and urethra, that would be 1.5 centimeter, so as to safeguard the urethral structures.
Yes.
And then posteriorly you can go generously because there are no structures there for you to damage.
Yes, sir.
So what image you have put is like anteroposterior, not in a side to side.
Yes.
But if you look at it anteriorly towards the bladder, that would be 1.5
Yes, sir.
of 0.5.
Ah.
Again, this oblique anastomosis was done to prevent stricture and also incidence of perirectal abscess, which was seen very high in Svensson.
Yes.
Okay. Then continuing further, as far as your preparation, it's common for everything.
Okay, sir.
So what do we do? What do we do at our institute for ball preparation?
We are going with mechanical bowel preparation, sir. For
We
the
are going with mechanical ball preparation and antibiotic policy.
antibiotic, it will be IV, sir.
How many days? Like, is it 24 hours, 48 hours?
Just before.
What is the, if you are planning surgery tomorrow, when do you start the mechanical preparation and when do you start the IV antibiotic?
Mechanical
And what antibiotics?
We are posting it for tomorrow. We will be starting mechanical preparation today afternoon, sir, and we'll be starting the antibiotics at the same time.
Same day, afternoon. So the child get 2 doses before that. So what antibiotics are you?
3 doses before the surgery.
Okay. Okay. So bowel preparation remains common with little modifications.
Yes.
As some descriptions have been by older papers. Okay.
Yes.
Then when you're coming to duhamel surgery, if you go to the 17th slide, go further down where you said about Grobb's modification and
Yes, sir.
yeah. So when you assisted duhamel's procedure,
I had assisted, sir.
yeah. So where do you think is the we cut the internal sphincter?
Distal 1/3 of.
How when is it cut? So you have seen the procedure, you have assisted the procedure.
Yes, sir.
So if you are describing the what's duhamel modified, the prevention of internal achalasia. So what causes that internal achalasia and what removal of what prevents that or overcomes that?
I mean, it will, if when it was a partial sphincterotomy, then it will be overcoming it, sir.
Where in what procedure of duhamel you do what you have assisted and what you have seen brings about this division? No, operation you have seen.
Yes.
The operation you have seen.
Yes.
You have assisted. So where would that be? At what step would that be? So you need to know when you're describing these things, you need to know that you're doing that unconsciously with the modification, but you need to know where you are cutting that.
Okay. It should be 1 centimeter above from the pectinate line, sir.
Where do you do the anastomosis?
posterior
Where is the division on the anal verge? What edge? What is it? What
from
centimeter above?
from anal verge, pectinate line will be 1
Half
centimeter.
dentate line. Dentate line. Half centimeter above dentate line. Yeah. So if in this position, in what step during this would this internal sphincter be divided? So achalasia is called is attributed to internal muscle sphincter. So at what step in Duhamel, in what you have seen or you have assisted,
Yes, sir.
is this sphincter?
After pull through while firing the stapler for linear anastomosis.
Stapler, or whenever you are adding clamp or whatever the method of division of that. So that is the event where you will be also dividing the internal anal sphincter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Then subsequently next this one, because you need to. So what are the other types of methods of elimination? These are little very old ones. What are the present methods used for elimination of spur in a Duhamel's procedure? What is used? One you said, what do we use?
Stapler.
Staplers. So when stapler, if they're not using stapler, what else is used?
Clamp, Hawker's clamp can be used.
Cockers are Indian. This thing is Irani, which is a modification of the Cocker's clamp.
Okay.
Then anything else is used extends other types of clamps which causes very wide division of the spur.
Ikeda.
Ikeda. How do you spell that?
I.